The 7th of April, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi. Tazria.
Okay. Good. Okay. New Parsha. Parsha's Tazria. By the way, do you guys want to continue the share till the end of the week? I don't know what's the other shiurim are doing.
Their Rabbi First is starting a little later and ending the same time he usually does, which is 10:30. Rabbi Levitt is starting at 10:30, going to 11:30, and then we'll see if he's going to go to 12:30 or not. So
Okay, who's normally after that?
you.
I mean, after whom? After Rabbi
After
Feld?
Rabbi Levitt.
Sorry?
After Rabbi Levitt.
He ends at what time? 12:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So certainly till the end of this week, that'll be fine for me to learn. Okay? We can continue.
Okay.
And we'll see about next week. We'll see.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay. Good.
Okay, let's go. Okay, Mayor, make a start here.
Okay. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, Daber el bnei Israel lemor, Isha ki tazria v'yadal zachar v'tam'a shivat yamim k'mei nidat dota
Devota.
divota. Right. Just father. Divota titma.
Right.
Okay, so speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a woman conceives and gives birth to a male, the Taman, she's impure for 7 days, as during her menstrual period, I guess.
Right.
She shall be impure.
Right. Nidas devoisa. Rashi's going to dwell on this.
Okay.
But the Lashon here, devoisa.
Uh-huh. Okay, so he first starts with Isha ki Tazria, when a woman conceives. Amar Rabbi Simlai, Kishem she Yitzirato shel Adam, Achar kol behema chayava of b'ma'aseh reshit. Okay, so let's see.
Same way as Yitzirato shel Adam, the creation of man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, kol behema chayava was after all animals, domesticated animals, wild animals, and birds. B'ma'aseh bereshis, in the act of creation.
Okay, kach Torato nit parsha achar Torat behema chayava o. Oh, so this is Torah explains this after the laws of the cattle, wildlife, and fowl. Okay,
Right.
very good.
Interesting. Yeah. I would not translate as cattle. But basically, the Ramban in Parshas Bereshis, he translates behema as domesticated animals and chaya as non-domesticated animals, wild animals.
Okay.
But wild doesn't necessarily mean as in dangerously wild. It means they're not they don't live under domestic conditions.
Right, like deer.
Deer, right?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
'cause when I think of behemoth, I think of cows.
correct. But they also include sheep and goats.
Oh, sheep and goats too. Yeah.
And you
Okay.
can have among non-kosher animals also, much of cats and dogs.
Oh, okay.
They're considered behemoths.
Uh-huh.
Similarly, horses, mules, donkeys, mules. What else you have? Things which are on the farm. The animals which are on the farm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Very good. Okay, so then he goes on. Ki Tazria, a woman conceives. L'rabot she'afilu yiladato machor.
Machor.
So that's
She gave birth to it. She bore it when it was machui, dissolved. Means it no longer, because of the miscarriage or whatever.
oh, it didn't have the form of a
Right, did not have a form of a child.
Mhm.
But it was dissolved and it became like semen.
Oh, okay.
Nevertheless, the mother is still impure and she gets a din of a birth.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I just want to say there's general comment over here. This whole concept of tumah. Basically, we have like a dead person exudes tumah.
Mhm.
That's really the most serious. And then in last week's parsha, a dead animal. And the different animals have different levels of tumah. You've got the 8 shrotzim, the 8 different specific types of rodents, let's call it, or other kinds of low creeping creatures. And then you've got insects. And fish, dead fish are not matame.
Oh,
And
okay.
dead birds, the carcass of a dead bird is also not matame. However, animal which is a bird which is forbidden to eat, right? Nivlas behema tahira is matame only if one eats it, but there's no tumah by touching a dead bird.
Oh,
Okay. But anyway, Rav Shamshon Mifal Hirsch explains the whole concept of tumah. Is basically tumah results through loss of life. And then depending on the level of the loss of life, so is the severity of the tumah.
oh.
So therefore, that's why, I mean, the question is, why should a woman, when she gives birth, why should she, even if there's no blood whatsoever, a woman causes tumah, she becomes tummy. Why should that be? So the idea is that previously she was holding onto a living being, and now she's expelled that living being.
Uh-huh.
And that in itself, in other words, her body has undergone to a certain extent a loss of life.
Mhm.
That makes her tummy. Okay?
Right. Okay.
Let's go on the next Rashi. Kimei midas tevoisa titma.
Okay. This is during the time of her menstruant infirmity. Okay, she's impure. Excuse me. Keseder called Tuma. Excuse me, second. Okay. So in order that all the Tuma, okay, ha'amura b'nida, concerning a woman who is menstruant, okay, mitam'a bitum'at leda. She becomes impure when she gives birth. Va'afilu niftach hakever below dam. This is what you were saying. Even if she doesn't expel blood during the birth.
Her birth.
Okay, very
That,
good.
Agav, this is the euphemism used for a womb. You know, Rashi uses it, niftach hakever.
Oh, yeah.
The grave.
Okay.
Why is the womb nicknamed the grave?
What does Niftach HaKefer mean, literally?
Which means the grave became open without blood. The kever, in other words, a grave is a euphemism for the womb. So, what is the? Why is such a euphemism used? That seems very strange. So, once heard from my Rebbe, Moshe Shapira, that explains as follows: that when a child is developed, right? So its stay in the womb is something transient. It's only on a temporary level, because obviously it's going to be developed there, and then after, when it's ready to be born, it's going to come out. The child is the fetus, or the child is going to come out. So too, when a person, after his time comes, his body is put in the grave, it's also only on a temporal basis. Because when it comes to the resurrection of the dead, he's going to come up again.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So the grave is a temporary residence and the womb is a temporary residence? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Hmm.
Both get A1 visas, right? You remember? Temporary resident got an A1 visa. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Devosa.
Okay. Devosa, which is here it says infirmity. Lishon davar hazav megufa.
Devosa means her dava.
So,
Lashon dava has zav migufa.
okay.
Hadova, we had it similarly to mention that didn't have it yet, but in the end of the parsha it says Hadova benidasa.
This is something flows from her body. Okay.
I'll show you this lashon over here.
Okay. And there's a lashon acher, another explanation. Lashon madveh. Okay, so it's vacholi. Oh, okay. So it's a term of infirmity and illness. Okay. She'eni sharo adam. If a woman doesn't see blood, shelo techeleh and she doesn't feel sick. Birosha va'evareha kivedin aleha. So her head and her limbs are heavy on her. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so that's generally when a woman menstruates, or even prior to that. So she feels unwell.
Mhm.
So that's why it refers to das devosotitma, her feeling unwell, her sickness, as a result of her menstruation.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Very good.
okay, let's go pasuk. There's no Rashi over here. There's only basic pasuk Gimel.
Uvayom hashmini yimol basar la so. And on day 8, circumcise the flesh of the foreskin,
Of his foreskin.
of his foreskin. Next pasuk, ushloshim
By the
yom.
way, we learn out, Gemara learns out from this pasuk that the Gemara learns out that this even on Shabbos, Vayom Hashmini, even on Shabbos. And that's one of the few mitzvahs which technically involve an Issa Melacha, involve doing something which is forbidden to do on Shabbos. But the Torah says specially, no, even though it involves a Melacha because you have to cut off the foreskin, nevertheless, the Torah says if the 8th day comes out on Shabbos, you still go ahead and carry out the Milah. It's such an important mitzvah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Pasuk Dalet.
Ushloshim yom ushloshes yamim teshev b'demei tahara b'chol kodesh lo siga ve'el ha-mikdash lo savo ad milos yemei tahara. Okay, so Dalet is for 33 days. Stay in the blood of Tahora.
Right. B'dmei tahara, right? She remains in a state, or should we teshev? Rashi's going to mean over here. I mean, she remains. She remains in a state of pure blood, which means that any dam which she sees will have a din of will have a din of dam tar. It will not make her tummy. Meaning after the initial 7 days when she's tummy, okay, but those after those 7 days, for the next 33 days, till the 40th day after birth, then she remains in a state that even if she sees, not menstruates, but she has a passing of blood from her womb, right? That blood remains, does not render her tummy. She remains tar. That's what it's called, dam toya, or dam tahara. So Rashi is going to point out that the word tahara is a noun over here, not her purity, but it means b'mei tahara. She remains in a state of blood of purity.
anything that is sacred, she should not touch.
Okay.
And the sanctuary, she should not enter.
To the temple. Mikdash lo sabo.
The temple, she should not enter until the completion of the days of her purity, of her tahora. Rashi says, teshev, remain, ain teshev, ella lashon akava. The term teshev only means
Here means akava means remaining. The sense of
remain.
Oh, Akava is remaining.
Kamo vateshvu v'kadesh, like the teshvu in you stayed in Kadesh.
Right.
Vayeshev
Elohim,
be'elonei mamre, and Vayeshev in he stayed in the plains of Mamre.
Yeah, it's interesting that Rashi gives the second element, because you could just as well understand to mean he dwelled.
Right. B'demei tahara, the blood of tahora, af al pi sheru dam. Even though she sees blood during this 33-day period, tahora, she is tahor. B'demei tahara, the blood of her tahara, lo ma peak aleph.
Lo mapi,
Don't
hey,
pronounce the hey like an olive.
no, lo mapik hey. Hey aleph is how you write hey.
Oh, don't pronounce hey.
Meaning, I explain to you what a mapik hey is. Sometimes the word has a hey at the end of the word with a dot inside.
Mhm.
That sort of indicates that you should pronounce the hey. In general, it's pronounced though not as the consonant sound and then the vowel sound, but the other way around. Let's say you have in the word in posset base, devoisa. You don't say, because there you have devoisa, the tof, the comma is under the top, and you sound the hey, devoisa. Ha. There's like a hey sound after the top so. Devoisa. Ah. But you could put it together, devoisa. But here, b'dmei tahara, you don't say tahara with a ha sound, but it's tahara.
Ah,
Just as if there was no hey there whatsoever. Okay?
Vahu shem davar. And this is a noun. Kamo tohar, like in the meaning of tohar, which means tahor. A noun. You're saying she is tahor. Okay, makes sense. Yimei tahara, in the days of her being tahor, mapik hey, the final letter hey is pronounced. The word tahara means Yemei Tohar Shelah, in the days of her being tahor. B'chol Kodesh, anything that is sacred. The Rabos es ha teruma. This includes truma. The fi shezo tevulas yom
All
aroi.
right. Okay, so let me explain what this means. In most cases, when a person is tome, midoraisa, yeah, so he's got to, even if, let's say, somebody touches a dead animal, so he's got the dead animal is called an avela, and if somebody touches the dead animal, he becomes tome. But he doesn't have, he can ready make himself, purify himself that very day. However, his purification does not become complete till the end of the day. It's called Herev Shemesh, till the sun is set. Which means, basically, he's got to immerse himself in a mikveh sometime during that day. And when the day ends, when the sun is set, then the day ending, right, will complete the purification process.
Ah,
And that's why in the Moshe, everybody's learned the first Mishnah in Brachas, Me'emosai kohen es shema be'arvis, Shosh ha'kohenim nechlosim lecho b'trumasam. Right? Which from the time the kohenim can come in, meaning basically purify themselves, their purification will be complete, and they can now eat truma. Because a kohen who is impure, who is tameh, is not allowed to eat truma. So when is that? Chazal said that means it means Tzeis HaKochovim, when it's night. Okay. However, it's expressed in the Mishnah to tell you a din that the Kohanim are not allowed to eat their truma till unless it's before nightfall. So rather than telling you you can say Kriya Shema from nightfall, it tells you another din that the Kohanim are only allowed to eat their truma from nightfall. Upon him, so that's we learn out from the Mishnah there. So you see that Kohen who became Tomei, he's not allowed to eat his truma, even though he's immersed himself in a mikveh. He's not yet allowed to eat truma till nightfall. It's called Herev Shemesh. Okay. So that's a simile over here as well. Now over here, this woman who's given birth, she's Tomei for 7 days. But the next 33 days, I'll use the term, she's like in limbo. Even if she immerses herself in a mikveh, right? But she's not fully tahor. Meaning, with regard to holy objects, i.e. eating, well, truma she is allowed actually, but eating korbanos or other holy items, she's forbidden to eat them till after 40 days, till she's brought her carbon, which we're going to mention in Pasuk Vav. Okay? So we're only then when she's finished her thing. So during those 33 days after she's given birth to a boy, or as we're going to see in the next Pasuk Hey, in the 66 days since she's given birth to a girl, during that time, so she's tahor regard to certain things, like she's permitted to her husband, and she's allowed to eat regular food, even truma, but she's not allowed to eat kodshim. She's not allowed to eat sacred foods, meaning like korbanos and the like. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, so I think I was up to Ad Shit Ki As Hachama until the setting of the sun
Right? But Shal Yom Arboim, of the 40th day.
on the 40th day. Shele Machar, because on the following day,
No, it doesn't mean because necessarily. Or on the following day,
well, the shin, doesn't shin usually mean that?
can mean, it doesn't necessarily mean.
What does it mean here?
Here it just means merely for on the following day. Shalamacha, for on the following day, Tobi es kaparas tarasa. She will bring the atonement of her purification, and she will complete her purification process.
I see. There's no relationship between the setting of the sun and what she's doing the next day.
Not really. I tell you what, this is already late now. I will explain, I'll explain again tomorrow, the whole process of how she becomes pure.
Okay.
Okay. Whole thing. Very good.
Good night.
Okay,
Bye.
very
Bye.
good. Okay, Shkayach, Lou.
Baruch Tiyah, Meir.
Excellent. Okay.